Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
And we are back. The boys are back in town. Video podcast is back up and running. Sorry, we're not on the road. What is up, motherfuckers? Michael Bisping, how you feeling?
Literally back in town. Landed back from Sydney, Australia yesterday. Had a quick turnaround. Flew out there Friday. Well, no, flew out there Wednesday. Landed Friday. Went to a bunch of UFC gyms and jumped back on a plane and got here yesterday. Blazing headache. But so happy to be looking at your shiny bald head.
Well, I appreciate that. That is the first compliment you've given to me so far in our communications for today. I will tell you right now, Michael Bisping.
How many compliments do you want?
I don't know. I want to feel good every once in a while, Michael Bisping. You know what they say in like life. You have to compliment somebody, make them feel good. It's been, Bisping's in a bad mood. I'm gonna throw it out there.
No, I'm in a great mood. I'm slightly annoyed.
He's got a headache. He got ripped off before he came here.
Which is, I feel like you've waxed your head, especially for this podcast, which is good. Fair play. No, I just, I keep my voice down. Obviously, I hope he's not listening live. It's my son's birthday tomorrow. He's 17 tomorrow.
Happy birthday,
and,
Callum.
We're buying him his first car. And, we found the car in question, and we're in there, and we're trying to buy it quickly because I've got to get back for this podcast. And it's a 2015 car. It's got 20,000 miles on the clock.
What kind of car?
And he's saying it. Say again.
What kind of car?
Honda Civic.
Honda Civic. Okay, so yeah.
What?
You really want him to look like a Puerto Rican? Good. All right.
Hey, listen, it's his first car.
You know he's going to crash it. Yeah.
He's going to crash it. It's whatever. Hey, dude, $60,000 car. It's not exactly a cheap car. My first cars I had were £1,000 roughly, thereabouts for a long time.
I know.
Until I was in the UFC.
And the steering wheel was on the wrong side of it. It was fucked up.
Yeah, well, can I tell you a story why it's on that side?
Yeah, I would love to hear it.
You know, back in the day, when I say back in the day, I mean like a long, long time ago before your great country, America, even existed.
Right.
People predominantly got around on horseback, okay? They traveled around on horses, horse and carts, and they fought with swords. Now, again, back in the day, everybody was right-handed. If you know, or maybe you don't know, maybe you don't read, they used to force people to be right-handed. Even if they were left-handed, they would force them. They would slap their hands and whip them or whatever. Whip them, maybe that's a bit strong. But they would force them to be right-handed. Do you know this, Lewis?
I think I've heard this, but it might have been from you. You get some.
Anyway,
Listen.
So they force them all to be right-handed, and if you're riding a horse, and you're on the right side, hold on, what side of the road do you drive on?
We drive on the right-hand side.
So if you're on the right-hand side, and I'm fighting, I've got a sword in my hand, and I'm controlling my horse like this. And I get into a fight with someone with a sword, I'm going to chop my own arm off. Or he's going to chop my arm off. Whereas if we're on the other side, we can hold the horse by the reins and tally-ho and have our sword fight over there. So that's why we drive on the left. Does that make sense?
It doesn't, because we're no longer sword fighting and we're not driving horses. And
no, but we are a country of steep history, Lewis. So that is why we drive on the left-hand side. Anyway, I digress. So I'm buying the car. And the guy's trying to tell me, even though it's only 2 years old and it's only got 20,000 miles on the clock, that we only have a 30-day warranty on the car. Do you think that sounds about right?
No, I mean, well, yeah, it's basically a new car, 20,000 miles.
Yeah,
that's basically
that's pretty.
That's new.
I'm like, dude, listen, but then he pulls out a piece of paper with all the warranty options. And he's trying to upsell me a warranty for like $3,000. I'm like, bro, I said, it's got 20,000 miles on it, okay? I'm not buying, if I buy a TV for $500, I at least get a year's warranty. Come on. And he's like, no, you've got to This is the amount what you have to pay if you want a warranty. So I said, well, bollocks to this. I'm leaving. I said, I'm not buying a car. Once I put tax on it, almost $20,000, and I get a 30-day warranty. You must think I'm stupid. I said, either you give us a warranty or we're done. I'm leaving. Anyway, then he comes back and he's like, oh, yeah. No, you were right. It's almost got a 2-year warranty on it. I'm like, okay, so you just lied to us. You just tried to upsell me a warranty. He's like, no, I didn't. Blah, 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 blah. I said, well, you either lied or you're giving us wrong information. It's one or the other. I said, I feel like you lied. You were trying to upsell me a warranty. He said, no. I said, so you were wrong, man. Can we just admit that you were wrong? Okay, well, maybe I was wrong. Okay, and then of course my wife's glaring at me because I'm being embarrassing, and it went downhill fast, Lewis. Well,
I'll tell you what happened there, because you walked in. You're Michael Bisping. He knows who you are. Okay, there's some other fucking kid on the floor that's like, you know who that is? It's UFC fighter Michael Bisping. He sees money signs as soon as you walk in. Okay, you also probably like an asshole showed up in your fucking Maserati or one of your super expensive cars, right? Revving the engine nice and loud out front.
Showed up in a Range Rover Supercharge, yeah.
He's got a horn that says it's Michael Bisping every time he pulls into a parking lot. And
oh my God!
This guy
what kind of douche level do you think I'm operating?
This guy saw some dollar signs in you, and then he said, "Shit, I'm going to get a few $1,000s." To be honest with you, can I be honest? And I mean this.
Be honest, please.
I don't have any problem with him trying. I give him kudos for recognizing the opportunity to make some fucking cash. He's trying to feed his kids too. You're either somebody's being sold there, right? So you made the move.
He was trying to rip me off, Lewis. He was giving me misinformation. So I'm a little bit annoyed.
He was trying to play the gray area in life and take advantage of Michael Bisping.
Are you taking my wife's side on this as well? This podcast is over. Fuck you. I expect you to have my back, Lewis. This is ridiculous.
It's going to be Believe You Me with Rebecca Bisping and Luis J. Gomez next week.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so there you go. So I did have a headache, which was rather accentuated by, the typical used car salesman tactics. Yeah. Anyway, we're back. There was a MMA at the weekend. Now, of course, it was Kevin Lee versus Barboza, and I was in Australia, so I didn't get to see it. But I have listened to all about it and heard the recaps, and I saw the video online of him almost getting his head taken off with the wheel kick, and then
the little dance
about all over the place.
Yeah, look, dude, it was. I only watched the main event. I was working Saturday night, so I couldn't hang out and watch the fights. In Atlantic, it was funny as I was in Atlantic City the entire week before leading up to it, and then I was gonna maybe stick around. Ended up not being able to. Did watch.
Oh, really? So I didn't let you down when I didn't get you the tickets.
You did not let me down. No, it wasn't Perfect. A big deal. Yeah. I was gonna just let Harrington and Shannon down. They really wanted to go.
Well, I do apologize. I did send a message for tickets, and I never got a response. So,
what was this?
I don't know what to tell you. And being on the other side of the world, quite literally the other side of the world, on a complete different time zone, whilst also having my own obligations and commitments, I still reached out, but I didn't get a response. So my apologies for that.
Shannon, throw on the Shannon cam for a second. Show your sad face. Look how sad she is, Mike.
Oh, man.
Look, you know how many guys just masturbated to that shot?
Oh, Lewis, please.
They did.
Come on.
Come on. So look, here's the deal. The fight itself was pretty damn entertaining. It was one-sided by Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee am I crazy? He sort of came out of nowhere. Like I didn't. He was a guy that the biggest thing was that situation with Michael Chiesa like 2 summers ago where he had that that scrap on stage, and that was sort of the first time I even noticed Kevin Lee, and now he's the guy that everyone's talking about, and it's a combination of a few things, dude. Obviously he's a hell of a fighter, but I think it's also the fact that he's super flashy off stage. He's kind of making those moments every time the camera's in his face, and he really did. He just smothered Barboza the whole time. Barboza really just had nothing with the exception of that one kick.
Fun, though? Was it fun? Because often when somebody just takes someone down and smothers them, it's a pain in the ass to watch.
It was.
Was it an entertaining smothering?
Yes, because it wasn't just smothering. It was like brutal, vicious, mean, angry ground and pound. And it was like,
nice.
When you watch him, that's some scary shit. Like at any moment, it doesn't feel like it's even, it used to the lay and pray doesn't even really exist that much anymore. You don't see it happening as much anymore. But he was just constantly moving, constantly punishing him, constantly, doing damage. And they ended up stopping the fight in the 5th round based off of a cut. And rightfully so. I mean, Barboza looked like he was completely out of it. Kevin Lee is a motherfucker, dude. And not for nothing, he has way better striking than Khabib. So if the wrestling could cancel each other out, I think that he's got a massive advantage in the striking area.
Yeah, well, I was listening to him this morning. I went for a run this morning prior to this weird headachy sickness kicking in. I went for a long run, and I was listening to Kevin Lee on the Joe Rogan podcast this morning, and he says that he has Khabib's number, says that he has it all day, said he sees holes in his game. He thinks that the wrestling does cancel each other out. And on the feet, yeah, I guess you gotta favor Kevin Lee in that fight. You know, just thinking about what you said a second ago, you said lay and pray doesn't really exist anymore. And I agree. It doesn't. You know, back in the day, wrestlers would take somebody down, lie in their guard, and just body, head, or elbows or whatever, keep them there. Tito Ortiz, he was, obviously a fan favorite for that one. But these days, everybody knows how to get back to the feet, or they should. I mean, of course, with jiu-jitsu, there's many ways of sweeping somebody. There's endless ways and techniques for sweeping an opponent and getting on top. And if you can't sweep them, there's many set routines. I mean, I could think 5, 10 right now, set routines for how to get back to your feet. That really, if you drill them, are almost impossible to stop, you know? And if you're man enough to go for it. I mean, when I was coaching The Ultimate Fighter, I used to scream, get up, just because sometimes there'll be a break in the action where a guy's on top and then he'll go back to his feet and the guy lies there on his back. You've seen it, right? The guy's standing up and one guy's on his back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I would scream, get up.
Where he's like trying to call him into his guard almost.
Yeah, all that type of shit. It's like, dude, just stand up. Now, when you stand up, yeah, you might get a cheeky little glancing blow or a little touch, whatever. But guess what? If they get on top of you, they're going to elbow you to death anyway. So just get the fuck up. Quit being a bitch and get up. You're in a fight. You might take a little grazing shot as you try and get back to your feet. So yeah, that kind of lay and pray doesn't really exist anymore. So, but yeah, well done, Kevin Lee. Never saw the fight. Charismatic guy. He's good. I mean, he was talking about his fight with Tony Ferguson this morning. Obviously, Tony's going to be out for a while. Who fought last week? Oh, no, it was Khabib, right? Khabib beat Ali Quinta. Conor. Conor's got to be next in line, but yeah, Kevin Lee's got to be there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, he's obviously, one or two big wins away from being right there. And if he keeps on having performances like that, it's easy to see what's going to happen down the line. I thought it was kind of interesting to kind of look at the style and I go, maybe he could beat Khabib. I think also, not for nothing, people are being really hard on Khabib for that performance. We got to remember, there was 4 opponent switches on him. 4 opponent switches on him. The mental pressure of like being in this big fight. I know he made some statements being like, I'll fucking fight a polar bear or whatever right now. But the reality is there has to be a little bit of him questioning like, fuck, dude, this is the biggest fight of my life. And I'm sort of getting fucked because they keep on changing things on me. Conor's showing up. He's throwing dollies through windows. It's just pure chaos. And he has to go out there and perform at the highest level. And then he dominates. And then afterwards, people are still going like, you know what? He wasn't that good. I see Kevin Lee and I see Tony Ferguson. They could probably take him. Yeah,
well, the thing is, I mean, Khabib believes he's the best in the world. When you truly believe that you're the best in the world, regardless of anyone else's style, then it doesn't really matter. And that's what I do respect about Khabib. He will take on all comers, as he clearly proved that weekend. So, I mean, whether it's Conor, who else is in the running? Conor, obviously, that's the fight that's going to happen. That is the fight that has to happen, Conor versus Khabib. We don't know when Conor's going to be back now. I heard he was coming back sooner rather than later, but then obviously all that stuff happened. So there's probably going to be a delay there. Khabib's going to need to fight someone. Tony Ferguson's out for a while. And so I guess maybe Kevin Lee could slide in there. I mean, he's certainly marketable. He just beat Barboza. Prior to the fight happening at the weekend, I don't know. I reckon I had Barboza winning that fight. I'm not sure. Did we do a pick last week? I'm pretty sure I said Barboza. So, he did well there. He surprised me. And,
it'd be a good fight. I think Kevin Lee versus Poirier. Have they fought yet? No, right? I think that's the fight.
Oh, that's right. That's the fight I was thinking of. Poirier just had a good win as well over Gaethje. It's crazy. It's like the lightweight division these days really is on fire. It's for sure the most stacked and the most... most high-profile matchups. Of course, Conor's in there, so that always gives it a bump. But Khabib's huge. Look, a lot of good talent in the lightweight division. What was the co-main event on Saturday?
I didn't even watch it. What was it? Let me go look. I'll go look at the results.
This is good. This is a great recap. None of us even watched it. We don't even know who did it. We didn't even do the research. to figure it out prior to going on air. So that's good. Sorry, guys. Sorry to all you believers out there. Hey, talking of believers and people that listen to this podcast, we got a good following out in Australia, Lewis. The amount of people that came up to me and said, well, they proclaimed to be a believer and a listener to the podcast was very, very surprising. So everyone down there in Australia, thank you so much to everyone that did. And in fact, I was given, I think it's behind me. It is behind me. I was given a boomerang by somebody, and the person that gave me the boomerang was the person that gave Fabrizio Verdum a boomerang, and it was that said boomerang that he threw at Colby Covington.
Nice. All right, there we go.
There you go. Random fact.
Now you have to use that boomerang against one of your arch nemesis, and there you go.
MSI. Yeah. I like that. Good grammar there, Lewis. I'm surprised.
Fucking whip it at Vitor's head, and there you go. You got a whole thing. It was Frankie Edgar. I would not
need a boomerang.
Frankie Edgar versus Cub Swanson. Frankie got the decision.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Which is nice. I mean, of course, Frankie Edgar. Come on. I mean, everyone loves Frankie Edgar, so it's nice to see him win. I'm also a business partner with Cub Swanson at UFC Gym Costa Mesa. So obviously my heart is with Cub. You know, Cub's a great guy as well. Both fantastic guys. But well done to Frankie. He's a true veteran, as is Cub. It's one of those fights where you truly say, may the best man win on the night. And of course, Frankie got it done. So fair play. Well done. Well done.
All right, let's talk about one of our other sponsors, which is Infinite CBD. Infinite CBD is a great company. You guys probably have been hearing about CBD being on the market now, which it's basically non-psychoactive marijuana. So you're not going to get high off of it. It's not a drug. This isn't something you have to hide from your parents or your mom or your job or your boss or whatever. Infinite CBD offers the cleanest, healthiest, and purest form of CBD available. Michael Bisping?
Yes, absolutely. No, I completely agree, Lou. Sorry, I was just reading some of this stuff. I'm going to give you the scientific breakdown here, so pay attention. But here's what CBD is. When a disease starts to take over our body, it will create an imbalance within your endocannabinoid body system. As I say, try and keep up. The CBD works to get those systems to balance back to where they should be, which is healthy working condition. Research shows that CBD has helped people who have arthritis, chronic pain, inflammation, Lyme disease, addiction, insomnia, diabetes, high blood pressure, PTSD, and of course, many, many others.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I take it for anxiety. I smoke a lot of weed, obviously, but I'm a dad. I can't get high during the day. I'm so busy right now. We're opening a studio at Gas Digital. We are spending like 80 hours a week just working around the clock to make this happen. I can't be in a haze all day, but I do have anxiety. I do have stress all the time. So I've been smoking CBD oil specifically to get rid of the anxiety, and it's instantaneous. I got to tell you right now, if you have anxiety, I really recommend CBD. I know they sent you, didn't they send you like a topical cream?
Yeah. Well, the reason I said really because I haven't tried smoking the CBD yet, so that's why I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to give that a shot. For me, the one I like is the freezing point. I talk about having a bad knee all the time, and it really does give me a lot of problems, but the freezing point certainly helps. And I'm, of course, this is an ad read and all that good stuff, but I'm telling you, the freezing point works. I rub it onto my leg. It's just, they call it freezing point. It's one of those topical creams, all natural pain reliever, but it works, man. I've been running again lately. I've been putting that on before I run every time, give it half an hour, and I'm good to go. Smells delicious as well. I can't get enough of the smell. It's a very, very good product, and I can't speak highly enough of it. I really can't, and I stand by this product. There's a variety of products also that they offer that you can enjoy CBD the way you prefer. They include capsules, vape juices, gummies, isolate droppers, all that good stuff. Lewis, so how do they get involved?
You got to go to the website. It's infinitecbd.com. That's infinite, INFINITE, CBD.com. Pick whichever CBD product is best for you and use the promo code BELIEVE for 15% off any purchase. That is promo code BELIEVE, 15% off of anything. The best part of all of this, obviously you're going to love the product, but it helps us out every time you guys do that. So make sure you don't forget to use that promo code BELIEVE for 15% off. And that's that. Let's get back into it. I wanted to ask you, because this is kind of interesting. I literally don't think we've ever even talked about this guy. Okay. But we're talking about UFC, the lightweight division. And Nick Newell, who is a fighter who's been in World Series of Fighting, Extreme Fighting Championships, Legacy Fighting Alliance, really all of the the regionals, and has only one loss in his entire career, which was to Justin Gaethje. Apparently, he is in talks with the UFC. Brett Okamoto tweeted that Dana White said that he's going to make a decision based off of Nick Newell tomorrow. And Nick Newell, obviously he's a great fighter and he's got one loss in his record. But the thing that stands out, the elephant in the room, is the fact that he's got one arm.
Yeah.
I guess he was born with congenital amputation on his left arm, which ends just below his elbow. So I guess it's sort of a topic that could be questionable. What do you think of that? Is that something that you would, how would you feel about that?
Well, firstly, congratulations to that guy, because I'm sure, I'm sure when he decided he was going to have a career in MMA, perhaps people rolled their eyes at him or said, "Oh God, this is, it's a pipe dream or whatever." So it just goes to show that anybody with the right work ethic can achieve what they want to achieve. Because I think the only loss on his record is Justin Gaethje, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's incredible. That's incredible. It really is. So, as I say, I take my hat off to him and congratulations to him. Now, I want to see everybody do as well as they can. And if he's good enough and he belongs in the UFC, which it certainly sounds like he is, then I would like to see him in there. You say Dana White's going to give a ruling, so to speak, on whether or not they'll sign him tomorrow. My only thought with that is that I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be Dana's decision, because it all gets sanctioned through athletic commissions. So maybe Dana would say, okay, we'll have him in. But then I would assume it's down to the athletic commission. I mean, where did Nick Newell fight? In the World Series of Fighting, was that in Vegas?
Yeah,
he fights in Vegas.
Yeah, he's got fights everywhere. He gets sanctioned, I guess. I know he's fought in New Jersey. Let me see. Shannon, look up.
That's crazy though, to be honest, because I've had my fair share of eye injuries over the years, and as everybody knows. And for me, getting cleared has always never been easy.
You have a different stance on this.
Fucking dude with one hand and he can fucking get clear, no problem. What the fuck? The stress I've through with this bullshit, trying to figure out whether I've still got a career. Fucking one-armed John can come in and fucking fight, no problem. But me, two hands all day.
Two hands, two legs.
Oh, what the fuck is on?
You got one.
That is not fair.
That's fucking one of the funniest perspectives on this that I've ever heard. Because you want to be the nice guy and be like, yeah, of course, give him the shot. But you're sitting there going, what the fuck?
Yeah, I am every day. Sorry, that's someone. Hold on. She's still there.
Your wife, by the way, just got upsold.
No, by the way, God bless him, and I hope he does. Because if he's good enough, which he is, it sounds like he is. He should be in the UFC. Certainly, a lot of people that maybe don't have the records that he has are fighting the UFC these days. So I hope he does. But if he fucking does fight in Vegas, then I want to speak to that commissioner and say, "Sign me up, motherfucker."
This is what it says on his Wikipedia page. Newell has a very short yet muscular stump on his forearm, which he learned from a young age to grasp objects with. Newell, born with his deformity and therefore not needing to adapt or relearn, joined a high school wrestling team. He thought about quitting after his very first session because it was the hardest thing that he had done in his life, and blah, blah, blah. He's had over 300 victories between high school and college wrestling, if you include non-competition matches in college. Yeah, dude, he's fucking... That's no joke, dude. That's a very inspiring story.
Massively.
And you know what? Not for nothing. I just look at things from almost like... You got to draw a line in the road somewhere, right? And almost from a philosophical standpoint, I believe that you own your body, right? You own, and
you certainly did. Doesn't belong to anybody else.
For with almost everything, I believe, like, whatever you want to do with your body, you can do with your body. So if you want to commit suicide, more power to you. If you want to do drugs or heroin or whatever it is.
I don't know about that. I don't think if you want to commit suicide, more power to you. I mean, that has got to be, no, I disagree with that sentiment. That's of course, mental illness and things like that isn't something to be joked about.
Well, no, I'm not joking about it. Let me make this point.
They say that that's the coward's way out, and you got to think about the people that are left behind. So that would be one of the only circumstances where I say you can't do what you want with your own body because you're not left to pick up the pieces.
I'm not talking about
members, parents, the sisters, the brothers, the husbands that have to pick up the pieces and deal with the depression and the sadness and the grief. Other than that, do whatever you want. But killing yourself, I don't know about that, pal.
I'm not talking about from like a sentimental point of view, like, you know, and I understand that perspective. And by the way, I've dealt with suicide in my family. I've dealt with depression in my family. I've dealt with a lot of it. And I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment that, you know, it's a selfish way out. I believe that sometimes you want to tap out, and if you don't have a religious view on the world, or you don't have a spiritual view on the world, and you just want to take that long fucking sleep, baby, you want to sleep. I get it, man.
No, you're right. You're right. And that ultimately is your right, I guess.
But I'm talking about really from
and I'm not judging anybody. I mean, same here. I mean, my cousin, she jumped off a bridge into moving traffic. Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, no, I tell you about what I said to a certain degree, because it's not necessarily selfish, but it's not the way out, and it's not the message that we're trying to put forward.
Right.
On this podcast, you know.
Right. I don't want somebody that's sitting here maybe thinking about it, going like, oh yeah, you know what, the Believe You Me podcast says it's a good way out. Yeah. That's not what we're saying.
Said with his shiny bald head that it's okay, and it's my body, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm going to kill myself. No. Anyway, back on track. Back to Nick Newell, because this is going down a rabbit hole that I don't really want. Okay, go on. One more.
Well, no, I just want
to depressing fact about suicide.
No, it's not a depressing fact. The point that I'm making is I'm talking about from a legal standpoint. You can do what you want with your body. I believe that there shouldn't be governing bodies saying that if you try to commit suicide, in most states, Michael Bisping, they will lock you up. They will take away your rights to freedom because you're crazy, and they think you're a danger to yourself. And
for your own protection, I believe that would be.
But that's where I start to
for your own protection, which
is fucked up.
What? If you're going to kill yourself, you need protecting from yourself.
It's your body.
The truest state of that expression.
Yeah.
You need protecting from yourself. So therefore, I agree with it.
Isn't it your body to decide if you want it protected? It's just like, for me, look.
But if you're going through a state of severe depression or mental illness, and you're maybe not thinking clear, or you just don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, there's always tomorrow. There's always hope. There's always, you know, there's always another day, and things don't seem as bad after a good night's sleep.
Well, look, that's why you have a family, and that's why you have your friends. That's why you have the Believe You Me podcast to keep you going. I'm talking about the fucking government coming in and telling you what you could do with your body. So I believe that you should be able to take whatever drugs you want. I believe you should be able to kill yourself. I believe you should really, if you're not infringing on the rights of other people, you should.
Guess what? You can kill yourself, you know, unless you're making a big song and dance out of it. I mean, if you want to be honest, unless you're going to go out there and tell the world and make a big commotion over it, then, you know. Why would anyone know and be able to stop you? If you truly wanted to do it and not get attention, then you could do it very, very easily.
If you fail, and then you could be charged with a crime. If you fail, I don't know.
You can be charged with a crime?
Yeah. There's, I guess there's different jurisdictions. I guess they obviously have different rules, but that's definitely, a thing. And I know certain states now have assisted suicide, but I think we're focusing way too much on the suicide. The point that I'm making is that Nick Newell should be able to fucking.
I've got a good point about Nick Newell that I want to make before I forget it.
Well, that's the point I'm making, is that Nick Newell should be able to do whatever the fuck he wants to do with his body. If he's of sound mind to say, hey, dude, I want to go and compete. I have my one arm isn't there, but I still feel as if I can compete, and he can compete. Fuck yeah, I think he should get a shot in the UFC. Why not?
1 million percent, 1 million percent. I'm totally with you. I totally agree 100%. The only issue that I foresee that he might have is getting people to agree to fight him, if I'm honest, because if he's as good as what I hear he is, as I say, I apologize. I've never seen him fight, but I hear very, very good things.
I'm going to send you a video right now.
Say again?
I'll send you a video right now if you want to watch it.
Yeah, but it's hard enough keeping up with all the UFC people, you know, working as an analyst for Fox Sports, you know, and that's without watching World Series of Fighting and all these other promotions. I'm a fan of MMA, not just UFC, but still, there's only so many hours in a day. So if he's as good as what everyone says he is, it's going to be hard to find an opponent, because people might be like, I don't know about this. I don't really fancy him getting beaten by the guy with one hand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that doesn't make you look very good. He's like, here's the motherfucker. He got choked out by the guy with one hand.
I would love to get him on and talk to him about that, because I'm sure that's something that he's truly had to deal with.
Well, 100%. I mean, even I think, yeah. And not just that. Let's say I'm fighting him. We're in the cage. I'm winning the fight. It's going well. I've got him hurt. He's up against the cage. He's on one knee. Bing, 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 bing. I can blast off a combination. Unless I'm a total fucking arsehole, there's going to be a part of me that thinks, hold on, he's only got one fucking hand. Let's not fucking go to town on him too much, because you know, you're a bit of a bullying bastard here. Just take it easy. And then the cunt turns around and smashes you in the face and chokes you out.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? You know, and by the way, I'm you know, I'm not disrespecting him at all, but I'm just saying there would be those conflicting emotions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that they would have
Possibly. I don't know because I haven't fought him. I'm just saying. I'm just, looking at the consequences.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up
Scenarios, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a lose-lose situation, and there's no disrespect to him because it's
That's it. It is a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose for sure.
So
If you beat, you're fucked. If you win, you're a bully that just beat the guy with one arm. Now, I wish him the best, and I hope the UFC do sign him. I really do, because that would be an amazing story. It really would. And especially if he came in and had a good career, which I don't see why he wouldn't. I find it absolutely fascinating that he's been able to pull this off. He wins most of his stuff by submission. Is that correct? Rear naked chokes, if I'm not
submission. He's got some TKOs. Knee.
Okay.
Submission. A lot of submissions, a lot of rear naked chokes. How does he do that? How does he get a fucking rear naked choke in?
Oh, well, because I've seen a picture. It's you can still do a rear naked choke. I'm doing a rear naked choke right now with that hand, without this hand. Instead of that, that's normally a rear naked choke there on my beautiful big bicep.
Ugh.
I normally put it there, but I just going to put it there. Still do the choke.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I mean?
true.
Still make it work.
He's got
wear gloves.
Yeah, he's got it. Let me see. He's got a TKO knee. I think it's just he's got no TKO. But
Seriously, does he wear two gloves or one glove?
No.
And can he hit with the arm that has no hand with no glove on?
What does he do with the other hand? He can't put a glove on it. He's gonna fucking glue it to it.
So what can he do? Can he crack people in the face with that?
With fucking probably. Why not?
Stump?
Yeah, dude.
What I mean? Well, that's gonna fucking hurt. No, knocking people out.
You can forearm people. You could elbow people. No, that's not. It's not a knuckle.
I'm joking.
I
think it's amazing. I really do. It's incredible. But you know what? To be honest, he probably wouldn't want us saying things like that. He's still just a normal fucking person. He's a normal person. It's not like he has one arm. He's lost a hand, which I'm sure has been massively challenging in life. So I'm not trying to belittle it whatsoever. But I'm sure he doesn't want people, treating him any different. Really,
No, he's better than everybody. Listen to me, he's got one hand, but he's a fucking professional fighter. He will beat the shit out of most dudes and finger your girlfriend with his good hand. That's what he fucking does. Not you, but most dudes.
You don't have to go there. He doesn't have any fingers, Lewis.
On the other hand, he's got fingers.
Oh, shit, right, okay. Can we, God, always going to take it there. Always going to take it there. My
It's
God.
true.
I thought we're having a balanced discussion. This could go off the deep end in the wrong fashion, talking about this amazing inspirational guy. But no, you had to bring fingers into it and ladies' vaginas. Well done, Lewis. Well done.
It wouldn't be the Believe You Me podcast if we didn't.
It wouldn't, no. But
I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that he's fought that has since gotten into the UFC. Any of his
just Gaethje beat him.
Justin Gaethje beat him TKO punches, second round. Okay. Justin Gaethje didn't give a fuck. He didn't pull a Michael Bisping in the corner. He didn't feel bad for 1 second. He said that he saw that opening. Yeah.
He took it.
Yeah, why not?
Bloody Justin Gaethje. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dars choke. Decision.
I sent you his highlight reel, by the way, if you want to check your email. The Nick Newell highlight reel.
It's okay. We're live on air, and people don't want to watch us watching things.
Where the fuck is Harrington? We have a video podcast. We should be able to pull this up and watch it and talk about it in real time.
We should be able to, but it looks like we can't. All right. Nick Newell. I hope he gets signed. I hope Dana allows him. Of course, it sounds like athletic commissions have no problem with it. So I, for one, sign off on Nick Newell. Not that I'm any kind of fucking authority, but that would be great to have him as part of the roster.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see it. I think it's great. And if he keeps on winning, fuck it, dude. One loss ever to Justin Gaethje. The one dude who's beat him is like the UFC's new go-to, throw that guy in there and have him fucking go wild. Hell yeah, dude. All right, let's talk about BetDSI.com, which is just an incredible sponsor for the show. They've been in business for over 20 years. They're top rated in so many different review sites. You know the deal. You've heard of BetDSI if you're a sports fan. They make it super easy to gamble on all of your favorite sports. They've got a great, easy-to-use interface. Michael Bisping, you are not a tech guy by any means. You are addicted to BetDSI.
Oh, I don't know about addicted.
You have a problem.
Sound like some kind of. Okay, I have a problem. I'm on the phone to Gamblers Anonymous every week. Thank you for bringing that to the public. But by the way, just because you use BetDSI.com doesn't mean you have a problem.
That's also true.
To stop insinuating such a thing. But if you are a degenerate gambler and You want to lose some money or make some money, then go to betdeside.com, because guess what? If you haven't registered and you register using the promo code ME25, they give you $25 just for registering. And on top of that, what do they give you, Lewis? What do they give you?
They will give you a 200% bonus match on anything you put down. That means they triple up your money. Michael Bisping, if you put down $75, how much money is that?
$225. Boom. You did not think I was going to get that. You did not think.
If you put down $220, how much money is that?
$660. God damn, I am good. Just call me Einstein. But seriously, that is, I mean, we could go on with this all day, but that is the triple. That is the 200% bonus match. That is what will happen to your money. Not to mention $25 just to play with them. And of course, this weekend, Frank Mir taking on Fedor Emelianenko. And Frank Mir is the favorite, minus 145 favorite. Fedor Emelianenko is a plus 125 underdog. I'm going to go with Frank Mir. Probably not going to get a big return on $25, but
put that money down.
Money. It'll make the fight more exciting. Anytime you're watching something, if you got money on it, it's always better. So go to betdeside.com, use the promo code ME25, get you $25 and get a 200% bonus match on your money. Lewis, what do you want to say?
Put $500 on fucking Frank Mir right now. Go put $500. You're going to get a triple play on your money. That's $1,500 on Frank Mir. Motherfucker, you are going on a vacation. You go to Jamaica, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you this right now. That's a good idea.
That's a good bet.
Frank Mir is going to win that fight. Frank
100%.
Mir is definitely going to win that fight. In fact, put $1,000 on.
Yes.
Go to betdeside.com. Use the promo code ME25. Put $1,000 on Frank Mir. That becomes $3,000. If Frank Mir loses, don't fucking call me, okay? But if he wins, you're gonna be a happy man. You're gonna win. How much do you win on that? Who knows? Who cares? I need a calculator to figure that out. But there you go. Bet this out.
Couple $1,000.
All jokes aside, it is one of the best in the business. Been around for a long, long time, and they are a fantastic supporter of this show. So we thank you for that. BetDeside.com. Check them out.
All right, let's get back into the show. We have to address this really quick.
Which?
The Nick Diaz rumors. You got to talk about this.
Oh, okay. Well, see, here's the thing. My phone hasn't stopped. Right? And when I say it hasn't stopped, I mean literally people texting me like crazy, people messaging me on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Nick Diaz, when is it? I want to get tickets. Journalists, is the fight happening? Right? So what are the rumors? What have you seen? As I say, I just came back from Australia, so I was so busy. The whole time I was there, I stepped off the plane and immediately went to work. I had a workout at the gym, and then I was at it. Gym to gym to gym, UFC Gym Australia. If you live in Sydney, go check it out. They're awesome. But I didn't have time. Haven't really, I've been a little bit absent from social media, all that type of stuff. What is the rumors? What is going around?
Okay, so ChrisCyborg.com is reporting, which
is always a solid, reputable news place. But if it's on ChrisCyborg.com, hey, CNN has nothing on that.
Shit. Is this her website, or did somebody buy that domain and just...
No, I believe it is her website. It's also a part of, it's her website.
They do news, and it's like, I guess, the BJPen.com is the same thing.
Yeah. I think it's run by the same people that do BJPen.com.
Weird. So it's like they basically
Which I've had a few issues with BJPen.com over the years, so maybe they're just putting all the shit down on ChrisCyborg.com.
Yeah. So let's see.
Site.
This is what they are reporting right here. Let's see. Rumor: Michael Bisping to fight Nick Diaz in retirement fight. This is from April 23rd. News of this first leaked on the infamous Underground. Another very reputable source. However, our sources have said both sides would be interested in this fight, while Ent Imports released news that preliminary discussions for this bout has already started taking place. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Do you know what?
ENT Imports, which is like one of the worst websites ever. These clickbaiting motherfuckers. They're the worst. They're the worst. There's a certain MMA website which you continually promote on our on our podcast, Lewis, which shall be named nameless.
MMAmania.com?
Who?
No, nothing.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
I said MMAmania.com.
Yeah, that's the one. You just can't help yourself, can you? Go fuck yourself on your bald head. Yeah, ENT Imports, though, are even worse. Even worse, because it is the worst clickbait ever. You know how I know it's the worst clickbait ever? Because I click on it, because they get me.
Yeah.
They get me with these bullshit headlines, and then I read it. I'm like, This is nothing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they're even worse. Okay.
USADA cleared Diaz to compete as of 420, ironically. And UFC is looking at making Bisping versus Diaz fight happen possibly this summer in Los Angeles. They got a location. They got a fucking date. They got everything.
So why?
Why?
It's true.
No.
It is. I'm fighting Diaz in LA.
No, you're just fucking saying that. You wouldn't say that.
For the sake of people who want to take a little clip and make this go fucking viral, I am fighting Nick Diaz.
Do you have a date? Do you have a specific date?
No, I'm not fighting Nick Diaz at all. It's total bullshit.
Damn it.
I haven't spoken to the UFC about anything. They haven't come to it. In fact, I'm a little bit offended. The Ultimate Fighting Championship. What the fuck? No. I'm probably retired. I just haven't made it official. So here's the deal with Nick Diaz. Excuse me. A while ago. Pardon me. A while ago, it was after I first won the belt. Was it after I won the belt or after I beat Henderson? I'm not sure. One or the other. I was in New York and
Sirius XM.
no, that wasn't why I was there. I was doing some PR stuff for the UFC and went to a club actually with a friend of mine, a couple of friends, and lo and behold, there was Nick Diaz. Great guy. We hung out. We had some drinks. We had a good time. And he suggested that we should fight each other at 170. And I'm like, well, I can't do 170. So we were talking about a catch weight. I said, Nick, I'd love to, man. You've got a huge name in this sport, you know. And it was a very pleasant conversation. There was no nastiness, you know what I mean? There was no bitching. I was like, come on, dude, you have to come up. I'm making 185 kills me and this and that. But really, we were just, I think more than anything, we were just having fun with it. And it never materialized into any actual real discussion of a fight. And of course, since then, he got banned or suspended. That whole thing with the weed, which was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Fortunately, the commissions did the right thing and he's back. But I don't know where these rumors started. I don't know who started it, but it's bullshit. I haven't heard a single thing. UFC haven't reached out. Management haven't reached out. No one said anything. No word whatsoever. As I say, I haven't made my mind up completely, but I'm very, very close to retirement.
Look, with these things, where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't think I've ever heard of a rumor that started from absolute fucking nothing. So there it has to originate from somewhere, right? And would that be, second question, is that if the UFC came to you right now, because that's as big as a fight as you can get. I mean, dude, that's Nick Diaz coming out of retirement. It's very comparable to GSP coming out of retirement. We know the reason you took that fight. This is something that you was such a long time in the making. Is that something that would interest you if the UFC came to you and made you that big offer?
Yeah, here's the thing. Listen, Nick Diaz is, I was going to say one of the legends of the sport. I'm just trying to think if I agree with that statement.
Yes.
I don't. You think so? Yeah.
Legend. Yes, 100%. Legend of the sport. Nick Diaz, dude, fought fucking everywhere. Been in the UFC since back in the day. Knocked out Robbie Lawler. Fucking went to Pride. Choked out Gomi.
You're right. No, the guy's one of the original old school fighters. And what I like about Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz, the Diaz brothers, they're real fighters. They are real fighters, and they come to fight every time. They're always entertaining. They say a lot of controversial shit, but they're real fighters. They're not trying to pretend to be something. They're not trying to pretend. They don't do MMA because they think it's cool. They're not jumping on the bandwagon. That's who they are. They're fucking fighters. They'll throw down at a moment's notice, whether it's in a octagon or on the street. They are fighters. Simple as that. And that's what I respect about them. I've said many times these days, I'm not sold on that everyone is fighters these days. There's some people that claim to be martial artists. Martial arts and fighters are two very different things, if you ask me. And even still, some of the people that are fighters, whatever, they're not in the same vein that I am, or Nick Diaz, or Nate Diaz, and a lot of other people in the UFC as well. I think maybe just because I'm one of the more old school guys, I just kind of have maybe a bit of favoritism for the more old school guys. But Nick Diaz is someone that I definitely respect. And if there was a possibility of that fight, then for sure I would accept it, people would want to see that. The only issue is that I don't think I'm ever, if I do fight, then I want it at 205. And I don't think Nick would do 205 because making 185, for the last 10 years, that's pretty, it's been so hard. Making 185 for me is not an easy task. It's not an easy task at all. And if I'm going to fight one more time, it's going to be at light heavyweight. Or I'd do a catch weight, maybe a 195 or whatever. But making 185 for me is too hard. So if Nick would be willing to come up, then I'll do it. I'll accept. If he comes up to 195 or something like that, I'm down. I'm in. Sign me up.
And the truth is, everybody's got their price. So for enough money, I think you drop the extra 10 pounds. Come on. You'd have to.
Yeah.
Of course you would. Who are you talking to? I don't know what's happening. It's Nick Diaz. He just punches you in the face.
Yeah. No. Well, listen, everything's got a price. Everything's got a price, of course.
Of course.
But I'm just saying, for me personally, I'd rather fight at 205.
Yeah.
If I'm going to fight again, I'm probably retired, Lewis. I know I'm probably driving everyone crazy with this. Certainly reporters ask me all the time. I honestly don't know. If something comes along, great. But I need to make my mind up and make that official and move on with the rest of my life or get a fight. I was supposed to fight in London. Never happened. Book me a fight and let's go. If not, fuck it. Let's move on. But Nick Diaz, just for the record, officially, and for everybody that texts me and asks me, because I think some of them don't believe me. They think I'm holding out some kind of, big information. Said, no, I'm not fighting Nick Diaz. UFC haven't reached out. No official word of that. But you're right. There is normally, you know when these rumors come out about somebody fighting somebody, and everyone's like, how did it come out? Who did you tell? I'm like, well, I didn't tell anybody. So I've had the UFC call me and be like, what the fuck, man? We said not to say anything. I said, I didn't say anything. But you got to understand that, of course, I have people in my life that I have to speak to. I have a manager. I have my coaches. I have a number of coaches. I have training partners. And I have to call up a training partner, for example, say, hey, listen, can you come down and spar tomorrow? Because I'm fighting Nick Diaz, for example, and I need to get some sparring in. Well, and I say to them, don't tell anyone, but they might go off and tell their girlfriend or they tell whoever, and they tell someone. And before you know it, a rumor started, then some prick goes on the underground, this, that, and the other, and it's out. You know what I'm saying? So that's generally how that happens. But as of right now, I'm telling you, hand on heart, no official talk of Nick Diaz whatsoever.
I think the rumor probably originated from the other side then. It was probably something like this. Nick Diaz is in talks right now, coming back. He's allowed to fight. He's probably throwing out names of guys he'd be interested in fighting, big name dudes. You're a name that came up, and he's like, yeah, dude, see if we can make that happen. And then one of his little fucking,
cronies.
Yeah, heard that and put it out somewhere. But I think it came from somewhere. This isn't just pulled out of the thin air.
Yeah, maybe it did. Maybe it did. That, as I said, me and Nick, we did have that conversation, and it was purely, a respectful conversation. Just in terms of, he's good, I'm good. Let's fight. There was no like, fuck you, let's get this on. I can't stand you.
Yeah.
So maybe that did happen at their side. Who knows?
Nick is the type of guy, though. It seems like he has to work himself up to fight somebody. So if you did fight him, I think it would get into like mean mugging and fucking.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely it would.
Oh, that'd be.
And I'd welcome it. It'd be great.
So much fun. So much fun. Oh, dude, make that fight happen.
All right. Well, listen, Nick Diaz, if you're listening and you want to fight again, give me a shout, pal, because I'm down. I'm down. If you're willing to have some more, if you want to eat some food and put a few pounds on, then let's do this, my brother.
It's 215 catch weight. Why not?
Official call out. Mike Bisping, Nick Diaz, 195 catch weight. Let's go.
You heard that. You heard it here first, guys. Print it. Mike Bisping says Nick Diaz cannot make 195. He says that Nick Diaz is afraid to make 195 pounds.
I do, yeah. Nice one, Lewis.
Did you
job.
hear? We make headlines. Leslie Smith. This is a weird situation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, how much have you read about this at all? Do you know anything about the Leslie Smith situation?
Yeah. I was looking at it this morning, and I've heard about it a bit recently as well. She's been making headlines. So Leslie Smith, if you don't know who she is, because I'm not overly familiar, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just not. She's not a big name in the sport. I think her biggest moment, she fought Chris Cyborg. Was that the fight in Brazil? UFC 196, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, fought Cyborg, got beat up off Cyborg. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And that was it. And they've kept her around, and I think she was going out there. She was asking for $150,000 per fight. Is that the lady?
I don't know the number she was asking for, but she was in the last fight of her UFC contract. She was going to fight this other chick named. Oh, what the fuck's her name? Aspen Ladd.
It was at the weekend. She was supposed to fight someone at the weekend, and her opponent didn't make weight, correct?
Yeah, so I guess her opponent didn't make weight. So Leslie Smith was like, "Fuck this, I'm not going to fight." And then Aspen Ladd, the rumor was that her team offered her an extra $5,000 so she would still fight because this chick is undefeated and she's a hot young prospect, whatever. And then Leslie Smith still declined. And then the UFC said, "Cool, we're going to pay you your show money and your win money, and that's the last fight in your contract. We're done." So basically, they paid her to not fight. And that's that. So Leslie Smith, in turn, I guess she lawyered up and is now going to sue the UFC, which just seems a little bit bizarre. I don't know. It just kind of seems like.
Well, okay. You're missing out some key facts, Lewis.
Okay, maybe I am.
Yeah. So what you just said is totally correct. Everything there stacks up. But there's also one issue is that she has started what she calls Operation Spearhead. You know about that?
No, what is it?
She's trying to form a union, basically, a UFC or MMA union for UFC fights. She's trying to get 30% of the roster together to unionize and start a motion, for whatever people want to start unions for. You know what I'm saying? So there is that, which I think is an underlying factor. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Also, at the end of the day, if you're the UFC, you got a woman here that now bear in mind, if somebody fails to make weight, that's their fault. It's not her fault. But she does have the right to not take that fight. You know, she has the right to not take that fight because sometimes, I mean, for example, look at Luke Rockhold and Yoel Romero. Everyone said, and even Luke said, "Oh, I shouldn't have taken that fight against Yoel because he came in overweight." Now, of course, he got knocked out. So they have that right to turn it down.
But
UFC did the right thing. They paid her a show money. They paid her win money, which was good of them. And that does constitute a fight on the contract. And if the contract's up and, she hasn't really set the world on fire and she's not a fan favorite, I don't see what the big deal is. Now she's lawyered up. She's saying it's because the UFC, it's because she started this union movement and that's why they're getting rid of her. But maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I'm sure that the UFC aren't stupid enough to allude to that in any way, shape, or form. But if you fulfill your contract and they pay you, you haven't got a leg to stand on.
yeah, it's a little bit weird. So how do you know how much Aspen Ladd missed weight by? She was a couple pounds over, I believe. Let me see. It was one
couple of pounds over, if what I read online is correct.
I don't know, dude. What do you want me to say here? And I'm not a professional athlete by any means. I'm a fucking fan of the sport. And 1.8 pounds, it just doesn't mean enough to me, especially when we have the heavyweight division where there is a fucking 60-pound disparity in the entire division. So
what weight was this at? Was it 145 or 35? 35?
Shit, I don't know. I think it's 135.
Probably 135.
Yeah, it's 135. So, 1.8 pounds, she said, due to certain female circumstances. Ew. So
Ew, I know, you're right. I read that. I saw that online. I'm like, due to certain female circumstances, I missed weight. And I was like, call me childish. But why don't you just say, listen, I was on my period and I had some bloating.
Also,
okay?
We don't want to hear it. I don't want, if I have some fucking, if I have diarrhea or whatever it might be, whatever natural movement of my body happens for whatever time, I don't need to go and shout it out and make everyone visualize it. That's just the truth. I mean, we are being childish.
No, exactly. I would rather you said I was on my period than tiptoeing around it and saying certain female circumstances. Yeah, we get it. We get it. And it's gross. I don't care. But I don't know. Listen, I'm not a woman, and maybe Shannon could tell us more. In fact, no, don't.
Please don't, Shannon.
I don't want to get into it. But by all accounts, there is, bloating or whatever. And that's a shame. It is a shame she missed weight. Now,
I just think that Leslie Smith should have taken the fucking fight, dude. 1.8 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Top and bottom of it all, I think she should have taken the fight 100%. And she could have gone out there and fought and done well. Listen, she was contracted for a certain number of fights. She did that amount of fights. She got paid. It's done. It's over. Do you talk about Leslie Smith?
What? Do I? No, never.
Do you talk about Leslie Smith? Do we ever talk about Leslie Smith on this podcast?
I've never mentioned her in my life before today.
Exactly. And that's why. That's probably why the UFC have let her go. Because guess what? We're paying you to fight and no one gives a fuck. And it's a business. At the end of the day, if people don't care to watch you fight, then we're not going to pay you to fight for us. That is business. It's cruel. It's harsh. It's a sad reality, but that is the fact of the matter. That's why sometimes, that's why you want to go out there and you want to put on good performances. That's why you want to try and get finishes. That's why you want to stir up a little bit of controversy. You've got to try and get known. Up until this, I didn't know who Leslie Smith was either. I couldn't picture her in my mind if you paid me right now. I have no idea what she looks like.
And I got to be honest with you, this isn't a fair business. The entertainment industry, professional sports, whatever side of it you're in, there's a very select few amount of people who are going to make it to the highest level and are going to succeed. And nobody's really owed anything. I feel like the entertainment industry is sort of weirdly fair. Like you can kind of hit the lottery and become very, very rich and very, very famous. And then there's other guys who I see that are very talented and they make good money and they get along and they're living their dream every night, right? And then there's other guys who they never get there. And for whatever reason, maybe it's because they don't get the luck or they don't have the talent or they don't have the drive. They didn't get the right breaks, but you're kind of taking that chance. And then I think a lot of the times when the people don't get there, the Leslie Smiths of the world, they start to look for other excuses. They start to look for the outside factors and it's not themselves. They go, the UFC should have done this and they didn't take care of this and they're a monopoly and blah, blah, blah. And Leslie Smith, if you wanted to fucking get a UFC contract and make millions of dollars, you know what you should have done? You should have jumped in the cage against Aspen Ladd last Saturday night, kneed her in the fucking head in 18 seconds, and put your hands up in the air and fucking said, I will fight anybody. Cyborg, get in the fucking cage right now. I'll jump up to 145 pounds. And they would have re-signed you in a heartbeat for twice as much money.
Exactly. Completely agree with everything you said, 100%. And I'm glad that you say the entertainment business because it is the entertainment business. Yes, it's a sport. Yes, we fight. But at the end of the day, we're entertaining people. That's why they part ways with their money. And for whatever reason it is, she's just not cutting the mustard with the UFC. It's like myself. As I say, my fighting days are done. I'm trying to make a go of it in the acting world, and it's hard because I got a fucked up eyeball. Do you know what I mean? And don't think I don't know that holds me back, but it's not a fair world we live in. You know what I mean? And certain roles I go in there, I smash the audition and I think I've got this. But, guess what? They didn't fucking want a guy with a bad eyeball. It's as simple as that. And yeah, that's not fair, but that's fucking life and you got to deal with it. That doesn't mean you run and file a lawsuit. Your face didn't fit. Yeah. You didn't give us what you wanted. You didn't give us the performances that we crave or our fans crave. And guess what? You just turned down a fucking fight that we had to pay for. So unfortunately, adios amigo. Take care.
Well, look, here's what you got to do, Mike. See, you're not going out for the right roles. You need to go out for I'm
going for the right roles, buddy. Go fuck yourself.
They're doing a remake of Goonies. There's One-Eyed Willie the pirate. You could
go perfect. Yeah. What about Terminator?
Yes.
You know that scene. Fuck you, asshole. You know when he's like cutting his own arm or whatever.
Yeah. Or
possible responses. Fuck you, asshole.
Or what's the one in the Avengers? Sam Jackson.
Yeah. All right.
There's roles out there.
Jesus Christ, I can take the piss. You can't.
Come on. What are you gonna do?
I know.
All right.
All right.
What else is on this list now? What else we got now?
Well, I see here there's a Bellator event this weekend, and geez, Louise, talk about a missed opportunity with Bellator. So Bellator, they do this heavyweight Grand Prix, and it sounded pretty good. They had, some, to be honest, it's a Bellator Grand Prix, but everyone was pretty much an ex-UFC roster member.
Yeah.
Other than Fedor. Anyone else? Or King Mo. But they had King Mo and Fedor. Then on top of that, they have Frank Mir. They have, who else? Ryan Bader, Rampage. There's a bunch of good dudes.
Chael
Sonnen, pardon me. Yeah, exactly. So they have these fights, and but they space them out every few months. So there's no real feel of a Grand Prix.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? But remember when Strikeforce did that heavyweight Grand Prix? It was sick. There was a few fights in one night, and then quickly again they had the second round, and then you had the winner. and they kept the hype rolling. Certainly in Pride, things were a little different. You used to fight more than one time in one night, but this doesn't feel like a Grand Prix in Bellator. You know, it's just they have a fight, and then months and months later they have another one. I don't know. They've lost any kind of hype there, or they lost any hype that they had. In my opinion, I forgot it was even going on until I saw it on an MMA website this morning. I'd forgotten that Grand Prix was even still going on. Now it's a good fight. You got Frank Mir taking on Fedor Emelianenko, which is two old school pioneers, if you will, of MMA, two true vets. Frank Mir around forever, one of the true old school guys. Of course, Fedor, same thing. He was the legend. He was the man over in Pride. Frank Mir was the heavyweight champion at one point. So it's a great fight, but I just feel like there's no momentum and no real thirst for this event.
Yeah, I think the problem with and Bellator, I hope because I do enjoy Bellator once in a while. Don't go the way of smaller promotions, which is just assign UFC guys and let that carry you. And sometimes I feel like they do that, and they know that with Frank Mir and Fedor, they have two big names. Frank Mir being former UFC champion, Fedor being Fedor. That they almost feel like I've seen no marketing for this. I've seen no even like banner ads. Yep. I've seen nothing promoting that this is even happening. I just happened to see that this is happening. I was like, oh shit, we should maybe talk about it because I think it is an interesting fight. It's an exciting fight to watch. I'm a huge Frank Mir fan, and I always have been. When Frank, Frank's like, once again, it's just the era that I came into the sport and becoming a fan. Frank was on top. And he had just gotten into that motorcycle accident right afterwards, right? And he had to take 2 years off. And you remember when he came back, he got his ass beat by I forget who it was.
Brandon Vera.
Yeah, Brandon Vera beat his ass, but it was somebody else some other dude that just shouldn't have beat him.
That was when Brandon Vera came onto the scene and was just wiping everyone out, and everyone was like, whoa, this guy is going to go far. And then he got into weird contract negotiations with the UFC, or his manager, Brandon Vera, was asking for millions of dollars. So he didn't fight for a while. And then when he did come back, he kind of struggled a little bit. Big fan of Brandon Vera, by the way. I doubt he's listening, but if you are, what's up, Brandon?
Yeah. It was Marcio Cruz. Yeah. So UFC 50-70 he comes back, just gets his ass kicked by Marcio Cruz, who didn't do anything in the UFC. And then just like hot and cold. And then the Brock fight sort of kind of, made him come back when he tapped out Brock with that it was a heel hook or a knee bar. That was awesome, dude. Bar. So fucking cool.
No, he got him with the knee bar. Obviously, then he rematched at UFC 100, and Brock just destroyed
Took his soul.
It was pretty well. Not so much the fight. No, I enjoyed seeing Frank Mir get beat up like that, because I didn't. In fact, and I've told the story about this before, I shared an ambulance with Frank Mir on the way to the hospital afterwards. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
I just been knocked out of Dan Henderson, and he'd just been beaten up by Brock Lesnar, and we're both sitting in the back of the ambulance like, sorry assholes.
Instead of a siren, it was just a sad violin that played to get you through the streets.
So say that one more time. My wife just very rudely interrupted me.
Oh man, that was a solid joke too. I said instead of a siren, it's just a sad violin playing through the streets.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Sorry you had to repeat it twice. But yeah. We sat in the back of a thing. I was like, hey, what's up, Frank? What's up, Mike? Yeah. You get your ass kicked? Yeah, I got my fucking ass kicked. But yeah, no, Frank Mir, no, it was awesome what Brock Lesnar did that night. But yeah, Frank Mir, he's one of those guys. He's a legend of the sport. He's been around forever. As I said, so is Fedor Emelianenko. So there is a certain nostalgia about this fight. It was one of those fights. Remember, people used to talk about, could Randy beat Fedor? Could Frank Mir beat Fedor? He's in the UFC. He's in Pride. These fights will never happen. Well, now that is happening, and it's good. But I just feel like it's. I was going to say 10 years, but that's a bit much. It's at least 5 years out of date. I don't know about Frank Mir. I haven't seen him fight lately. So I wish him the best. But Fedor, come on. And unfortunately, you got to face facts. His best days are behind him, and that's a fact. He doesn't perform like he used to do. What was his last fight? What was Fedor's last fight?
He got scorched by Matt Mitrione, first round knockout a minute in.
That's right, yeah.
And then he had that really bad majority decision with Fabio Maldonado, who was a UFC 205-pounder from back in the day.
Out in Russia.
Actually, really exciting fight, like really fun fight to watch, but just not competing at the very highest level. Frank Mir, on the other hand, his last fights were in the UFC, and dude, Frank Mir, he's always fights the toughest motherfuckers, and he beats the guys that are like at the middle, and then he loses to all the guys that are at the very top.
Shit. Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, he got a loss to Mark Hunt in his last fight. And then Andrei Arlovsky, I feel bad because I used to be such a big Andrei Arlovsky fan, but if you lose to Andrei Arlovsky today, it's a problem.
Andrei Arlovsky was the man back in the day. But, listen, far be it from me to disparage Fedor Emelianenko. There is someone that truly is, in the Hall of Fame of all mixed martial arts. Fedor Emelianenko, Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, people like that. They're the best of the best. And so I'm not trying to disparage him, but or ridicule him or anything like that or disrespect him. But his best days are behind him. Simple as that. Simple as that. It'll be interesting to see the fight. Honestly, I won't go out of my way to watch it. If I'm in and it's on, I will for sure watch the fight. Yeah. But it's not like I'm going to say, hey, Saturday night, I'm here. I'm watching the Paramount fucking network. I'm watching this show. I just won't. I'll watch it, though, if I'm in and it's on. So, yeah. Who do you think wins, out of curiosity?
I think Frank Mir wins.
Mir.
I agree. I think Frank Mir,
yeah.
He's competed in the UFC his entire career, basically. And he's a bigger guy. Fedor, I don't know, dude. He should have fought at 205 pounds, forever. And I just think that Frank Mir is going to be too big. I think that he's got probably underrated striking. Frank Mir knocks motherfuckers out. He knocked out Crow Cop. I don't know. I think he's going to be able to just be, big enough to kind of bully him around and eventually get a knockout.
Yeah. No, you're right. I probably agree. I think he's just naturally a bigger guy as well. So, there you go. All right. So, a bit of a weird one today because, as I say, I just flew in from Australia and I've been feeling sick and I'm arguing with car salesmen and stuff like that. And there's not that much going on in the world of MMA. Shall we do some questiones?
Yeah, let's get some questions going. If you guys want to join the conversation, you can do so by shooting us an email, bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com, bym for believe you me at gasdigitalnetwork.com. We always pick 3 questions or so to end the show with, and we always answer them very, very honestly. Also, I got to say, I know a lot of people have been, saying that we should be doing this for a little while. We officially are launching the Believe You Me YouTube channel. Shannon, do you know the URL for that?
I don't. We can tweet it out later tonight.
Yeah, we'll tweet it out later tonight. So listen, I know a lot of people are, used to the latest version of the podcast coming out on the Gas Digital's YouTube channel. It's going to be a separate YouTube channel for Believe You Me. So look for this episode, which is number 60, on that YouTube channel. So make sure you guys go and find that out. And we're also going to put out the video at the same time as the audio, so you guys don't have to wait for the video or watch it twice.
About time, Lewis.
Yeah. And listen, if you guys fucking love the show.
About time. Okay.
If you love the show, you should know that we have 60 episodes available on demand wherever you want to watch them. You guys can support the show directly by signing up at gasdigitalnetwork.com. You get every episode we've ever done. You get them pre-released. They're ad-free as well. I know people hate ads. We have a live chat that you guys could join, a message board, all that good stuff, and it supports the show directly. Go to gasdigitalnetwork.com, use the promo code BYM, and it helps us out and helps yourself out as well. So, all right, here's some questions. All right, my name is Taylan, and I'm from Berlin, Germany. Hi, Mike. Hi, Lewis. I love the podcast, have been a fan since the beginning. Question. The British boxer Chris Eubank famously told his son, Chris Eubank Jr., that growing up comfortably meant that he was too soft to become a successful boxer. He would taunt him and tell him directly that he didn't think that he had grit and did not live through the hardships necessary to build the mental strength to succeed as a pugilist. Haha. As a result, the son has developed an insane work ethic and has, in his own right, become a very successful boxer and is currently ranked as one of the best super middleweights out there. Mike, you are obviously proud of your son Callum, and it's clear that he is on his way to becoming a very capable martial artist / athlete in his own right. Now, you have said many times that you do not want him to become an MMA fighter, but it seems you have nurtured that desire anyway. So the question is, what did you tell Callum when he was young when he asked you if he could be a fighter?
What was this guy's name?
This is Taylan from Berlin, Germany.
Yeah. Thank you, Taylan. That's actually a good question. And he, I agree with everything what he said completely and some of the thoughts I had. So Chris Eubank Jr., he's an amazing fighter. He really is. And as his dad was. Are you familiar with his dad, Lewis? Probably not.
No, I'm not.
Now, Chris Eubank, true legend of British boxing. Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, some of the fights they had back in the day were incredible. So, yeah, big fan. And Chris Eubank Jr. is incredible. He really is. So much so that I've actually messaged him on Instagram just saying I'm inspired by watching him train. The speed of the guy is unbelievable. Now, he lost his last fight, but that's the way it goes sometimes, And for Chris Eubank, for his father, Eubank Sr., to say that he didn't have the grit or whatever, I kind of understand what he's saying. Obviously, I'm assuming Chris Eubank Sr. gave them a very good life, I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming he made a lot of money in his boxing career. He was a world champion. He was a big star in the boxing world. As we all know, successful boxers make a lot of money. So I'm assuming he had a good upbringing. And I think the point that his father would have been making was that, look, listen, you just don't have it. You need that fire, that desire, that yearning for the good things in life. That's why a lot of fighters, boxers, MMA guys, whatever you want to call it, they come from those type of backgrounds because they want it. They need it. And that's the only way they can do it. Like, the only way I could turn my life around back then was through fighting. That was the only avenue I had. I sat and thought about it for a long fucking time. What can I do? And I thought, well, my fists are going to get me what I want. They're going to be able to give me the lifestyle that I want for my family. Is through fighting. That's the best thing I can do right now is to fight, So, and that's what I did. And so I understand the point that he was making, but it doesn't necessarily cross over. People have asked me about Callum. So how do you feel about Callum becoming a fighter? And I think, he doesn't need to do it, and maybe, he doesn't have that anger or that fire that I have inside, that maybe some of the obstacles or challenges that I had in my younger life, he hasn't had to experience that. So therefore he hasn't got it, but I'm totally wrong. I'm totally wrong because I see him, I go out there and I see him wrestle and I see the way he performs and I see the hunger, I see the aggression, I see that side of him. So of course I'm mistaken. And I think I told the story about when I took him running years ago, and he was running up these steps and he wouldn't quit. He's got that work ethic and that fire and that desire inside him. But I always say this: I fight so he doesn't have to. I've gone through these injuries and this career so that my children don't have to. Now, if he wants to do it, of course I'll support him 1,000,000%. My dad supported me every step of the way. Drove me all over the country when I was a kid. Didn't have much money, but what he did have, he did his best. He got me all the equipment. He drove me all over the country, took me to tournaments, flew me to New Zealand, did whatever he could. You know what I mean? Did everything he could to support me. And then even when I was turning pro, my dad was, he was there for me every step of the way. We got an old mattress and we stuck it in the back of the car. We drove it down to Nottingham. I lived in this guy's house on the floor and I put my mattress on the floor. My dad was always there, always supported me every step of the way. I had this shitty car, an old Volvo, and I was driving from Clitheroe to Nottingham, which is about a 250-mile drive, but the alternator didn't. The alternator charges the battery in a car, and the alternator had fucked up. So what we'd do is I was driving down to Nottingham because I had training in the morning, and my dad would follow me in the car on the motorway, freeway for you guys. And when the battery died, I'd pull over to the side. He'd pull over behind me. We'd switch batteries. I put his good battery in my car. My car would start and I'd drive off. Then his alternator would charge my battery. And we get about 20, 30 miles down the road. Then his one would die in my car. We'd pull over and we'd do it again. Did that about 10, 15 times to get down to Nottingham, you know what I mean? So I could train. And then he just turned around and drove straight back home again. So my dad always supported me, Yeah. And so yeah, of course, if he wanted to do it, I'd support him 100%. But I don't think he needs to. He doesn't need to. I told him this recently because he said, no, it's easy for me. Some people say that. I said, Callum, what are you talking about? I said, we live in California. I said, do you understand the luck that you have? Not just because you're my son or because I'm a fighter or anything like that. I just mean all of us. We're born into this part of the world, Western civilization. So therefore, we've got a fucking leg up on everyone straight away. On top of that, now I said we're living in a nice house. We've got a swimming pool. Your mum and dad have got money. We can send you off to college. I said you've got a good brain on your shoulder. You haven't been beaten up as a child. You haven't seen any real hardship. You've got fucking great health. I said you are in the fucking a very select a small percentage of luck, in terms of the human race. Now, on top of that, you've got me that'll support you every step of the way. I said, you could do anything you want. I said, on top of that, you're a smart kid. You're bright. You're very, very intelligent. You're going to a good school. I said, you can literally, if you put your mind to it, do anything you fucking want in this life. And I will support you 100%. So don't choose to be a fucking fighter, man. Don't choose to be a fighter. But if you want to do it, then great. Do it, and I'll support you. And maybe you'll have one or two just to say that he did it and feel it and experience it. And we've talked about that. And I if that's the case, I'll train him and I'll coach him and he'll have to get ready, But with where we live, we're in fucking Orange County, man, California, one of the nicest places in the world. We live in a nice house. He's intelligent. He's healthy. He's got family. He's got support. Fucking don't choose to be a fighter. A lot of these people that choose to be a fighter, I feel that true fighters don't choose to be a fighter. Being a fighter chooses them. Sometimes you fight because you got no fucking option. Simple as that.
Michael Bisping read that quote off a mirror in a shitty gym.
That's a good one. I just thought of that right then, but it's actually true. I don't feel you choose to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Being a fighter chooses.
Well, what it is though with him, because you're talking about as it relates to the gentleman's
and
question
by the way,
as well.
I'll probably kick my ass right now. I'm not saying that he hasn't got the physical abilities, and I'm not saying that you have to be a scarred or tortured individual with emotional baggage to be a fighter either. That's not necessary. You don't need that. So, and as
there's a different thing that
question. Chris Eubank Jr. has proven that he's amazing. But I just feel that I don't know if you enjoy it, great. But it's as I say, I don't feel you choose to be a fighter. It's either in you or it isn't.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's other things that make people. That give people drive. It's not always just being poor or having a gritty, fucked up upbringing. That can be something that drives you. And to be honest with you, probably most of the time it doesn't. Having a fucked up background and a foundation and having it truly hard, I'd say 99% of the time you end up staying poor. You end up staying in a fucked up situation. That's not really necessarily the best thing in the world. I think if you have some sort of luck or have something to lose, that's something that can drive you as well. Also having your name, watching his dad, win a UFC title, that's a different type of drive. Whatever that is, that type of motivation right there, and sort of no matter what you want to say, I know that, he looks at you and looks up to you in a different way. He wouldn't have gotten into fucking combat sports if he didn't look up to you like that, right? And, that type of drive, there's very few people in the world who can even connect with that type of drive, who can even understand what that's like to have a fucking dad who's achieved that type of success in that sport, and to sort of put that pressure on yourself. It is just a different type, and the motivation can come from anywhere in the world. I think the classic story is always, this guy came from nothing and he rose up to, but yeah, that you don't need that. I think you could have whatever fuel your fire.
Yeah, well, of course, it's in his DNA, so that is a little different. It is in his DNA, and he's been around me, and he's seen me. He's seen me apply myself in training camp after training camp after training camp. So, as I say, he's seen that, he's experienced it, and it is in his DNA. I just want to clarify, by the way, my upbringing wasn't like totally fucked up. Just I was 16, no education. And going nowhere, and I'd messed up in my life, and my family, a very loving family, fair share of their own problems, of course, which I'm not going to get into, but it wasn't like I had a totally fucked up childhood, far from it, but the want for success is what drove me to this. When you have children, you want to give them the best life you can, so that's what led me into this. So yeah, just wanted to clarify that. Anyway.
Next question. Okay, this is from Josh, and he's from the greatest country of England. Hello, Mike. What does the tattoo in your bicep say? And do you have any others? I love you, Mike. No homo. So what does that tattoo in your bicep say?
Just quickly there, I did the old Yoel Romero. I love you. It is so funny. Everywhere I go, that is what people scream at me.
I love you, Mike.
Yeah. Everywhere I go now, it's hilarious. Like when I do the Fox, the weighing shows and whatnot at the arena, there's a crowd there. That's what all the crowd shouts. And in Sydney, we were at the Fit Expo or something, some international fitness expo. Nice, decent line of people, and everyone was screaming, "I love you." So anyway, it's funny. The tattoo. All right. So I was coaching the Ultimate Fighter, and everyone after the show was getting tattoos, and I did. And firstly, this is my only tattoo, so I have no others. So that answers that part of the question. And it's not even a good answer. It says RCEL. Rebecca Callum, Ellie Lucas. Everyone was getting a tattoo. We came out the Ultimate Fighter, as I said, we're at the Hard Rock Casino, and there's a tattoo parlor there. And they're all getting it. And I thought, yeah, I'll get one as well. What can I get? And I thought, well, it used to say RCE, Rebecca Callum Ellie, because Lucas didn't exist. And then after one of my fights at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, we added the L and they embellished it a little bit. And that is that. RCEL. No fucking dragons, no cool story, no nothing like that. That is it. There you go.
Yeah, let me see. I'm trying to think.
What about you, Lewis?
Couldn't have
What
been a
have you
word that you could have written. No, I guess not. There's no word. I got a bunch of tattoos. I'm a fucking big dumb meathead. I have bad tattoos.
Yeah. What's your worst tattoo?
I think this one right here on my wrist. This one, it's supposed to be a flame. Me and my ex-girlfriend got it, but it looks like a lobster claw.
Let me see.
Yeah, right
oh
there.
God, it does look like a lobster claw.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And what did the flame symbolize? Your burning passion for each other,
our
desire.
undying love for each other. That one's bad. Then I got one that says Lou Dog when I was 18.
Yeah, I heard you talk about that on the Joe Rogan podcast, right?
Yeah.
I don't get it. What is wrong with Lou Dog? I don't know what a Lou Dog is.
Well, it was a nickname that I sort of gave to myself.
Nobody. Because you're Lewis.
Yes, you got it.
Lou Dog.
You got it.
Oh my God. That's
It sucks.
so bad. That's so bad. Anyway, that was a short-lived question. What else we got?
All right, we got one more question.
Lou
here.
Dog. Come on, Lou Dog.
All right, let's see. All right, this is from James Hogan. He wants to know, hi, I have to say that you guys are proving strong competition for the official UFC podcast. That is our boys, Jim Norton and Matt Sarah, who I love, Jim. I'm a huge fan of Jim Norton, and he's a buddy of mine. And Matt Sarah, too.
And so is Matt Sarah, by the way. They're both great.
And they're hysterical
and I can't
dudes.
pretend that I've ever listened to that podcast because I haven't, but I have heard excerpts, you know what I mean? I hear little bits and this and that. I'm just too busy. I should listen to it a little bit, but ours is definitely better, so I don't.
Of course. Well, I mean, what are we going to do? Here's the problem. You start listening to these other podcasts, and then you start picking up their bad habits. We're leaders. We're not going to sit here and fucking listen to Matt Sarah and Jim Norton, Fighter and the Kid. That's not our fucking thing, okay? We are leaders. We create content, and they listen to us to figure out what they do. That's what I say. But either way.
All right. Okay.
Here's what he says. After listening to last week's podcast, I rewatched UFC 105. Michael's defense work on his back in the first round was awesome, so I wondered if he is that good, why doesn't he use it more? So this is one question. The real question is coming up, though, so you can answer that first.
You want me to answer that now? Done martial arts all my life. Done a lot of jiu-jitsu. So I'm very good at jiu-jitsu, if I do say so myself. It's kind of gone downhill. I'm not as good now. I'm not as sharp as what I used to be, but I guess, it's like riding a bike. You start drilling something and the skills come back to you and whatnot, and your mind starts remembering things. But I haven't done much jiu-jitsu lately. But that was because I don't really use it in my fights. And I started, spending all this time drilling jiu-jitsu and doing this and that and just not doing any of it. And I thought, well, why waste my fucking time? The plan with the Gastelum fight, that was maybe to use my jiu-jitsu and surprise him. But obviously didn't really get too much chance to try that. But I don't know. I don't know. I think, well, no, in fact, no, I do know. I think I know. I think because in my early days, when I used to fight, I used to be so hyped up on aggression that I wasn't thinking clearly. And when I get in those positions, I wouldn't choose to go for a submission. I'd just rather punch them or elbow them, and I guess that's my background as a striker. I like to finish with my fists as opposed to a submission. But the good thing about a submission is that that's it. The fight's over. You pull off a submission, there's no, it doesn't matter how tough they are. If they tap, that's it, game over. So jiu-jitsu is a beautiful thing, and I do want to start doing it more. But what's the next part?
Okay, so then he says, but the real question is, if the UFC took a leaf out of the WWE rules and added tag team fights, do you think you guys could, as a tag team, could beat all of the other podcast duos? For example, Matt Sarah, Jim Norton, John Anik, Kenny Florian, etc. So how do we stack up? I mean,
of course. Come on. All right, who we got?
Sarah Norton, I mean, that's nothing. No offense. Look, Jim Norton, I eat him for lunch. Matt Sarah, he's a much smaller guy than you. It's been a while since he fought. You know.
Yeah, that's not competition. Who else we got? Brian Callen and Brendan Sharp.
Yeah.
Give me a break. That's game over all day.
Yeah, but I think that Brian Callen.
Sure.
I don't know, but I think Brian Callen boxes and he's like an athletic dude, but he's like 50. So.
Yeah, I like Brian Callen. He's funny.
He is very funny. He's a killer.
Who else we got?
Have you seen him live on like in a club?
No, I haven't. No, but
he's a monster.
he's hilarious on
He
that
kills.
show. You know the Goldbergs.
I never watched the
You ever
Goldbergs. No.
Dude, you never seen the Goldbergs? You got that program is hilarious.
Yeah.
I just recently signed up to Hulu. Do you have Hulu?
Oh, this sounds like an ad read.
No, it sounds like an ad read. It really
If you
does,
use
but
promo
I
code
was like,
BYM.
I'm not signing up to fucking Hulu. I've already got HBO. I've got Netflix. I've got DirecTV. I've got every fucking movie package. I am not signing up to more shit. But I wanted to see The Handmaid's Tale.
I don't know what the
You
fuck
know, The
you're
Handmaid's
talking
Tale is it won all the like the Oscars or Emmys and Grammys or whatever the awards.
about. You named every award.
Yeah, it won all the
Oscars,
awards.
the Emmys, the Grammys.
Handmaid's Tale.
Whatever.
I was like, all right, let's see what it's all about because you watch Netflix, right, Lewis?
Yeah.
How many times do you go to Netflix and you scroll through and you can't find anything? Half of my life, not half of my life, half of my viewing time at night is spent scrolling through Netflix looking for something. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, I have seen everything. Okay. So I thought, I want to see The Handmaid's Tale. There we go. It won all the awards. Let's check it out. But it's on Hulu. So I was like, fucking Hulu. I'm not signing up to another thing. But I thought, you know what? I'll do it. And I signed up to Hulu. It's awesome.
You love it.
And this is not an ad read, but
boy.
seriously, it's very, very good. I am not in bed with Hulu. I'm not making any money off this. But also,
Why do you think it's better? What is better about it?
For one, Netflix. Well, I guess it's not that it's better. I guess it's just because it's newer. You know what I mean? They have shows on there that aren't on Netflix, like The Goldbergs, which is hilarious, like Handmaid's Tale, which is awesome. Season 2 starts tomorrow, which I'm very excited about.
Are they doing cool program? Because Netflix is getting ahead of the game because they're doing their own programming now. So the TV
original
shows,
content. Well, they've just lost Family Guy. Family Guy is now on Hulu as well, which I'm a big, huge fan of Family Guy.
So is it like, do Hulu and Netflix sort of independently get the contracts with the studios and then they only show that? Or is there a lot of crossover?
Some of it's exclusive, some of it isn't. Right. Certainly now Family Guy is exclusive to Hulu, other than being on TV or Fox or whatever. And then they do their own original content as well. Maybe it's just because it's new, but it's very, very good. And if you're bored of Netflix, I'm not saying get rid of Netflix, because Netflix is great. Dive into Hulu. It's only $8 a month. What is that? It's nothing. So anyway, it sounds like an ad read.
Sounds just like an ad read.
I know it does, but anyway, I'm just giving you a glimpse into my life.
Of course.
Led in bed at night with my wife, scrolling fucking Netflix,
smoking some CBD oil.
For the sake of $8 a month, just fucking get Hulu.
Watching some Hulu, smoking some CBD oil on your mattress for a mattress. Just enjoying a nice shave from Dollar Shave Club. Why not?
And you will have a ball. Let's get back into it, shall we?
We fucking what's it called? You know what I started watching on Netflix, which I really like? It's fucked up. American Horror Story. I'm on season 2.
I started watching it. It's just too much. I feel like they were just like being controversial and like, gruesome for the sake of it, which I know you're going to say. That's the point, Michael. It's a horror show.
It's horror.
But it was just a little overly cliched, with the clowns and all that type of shit. My daughter's been watching it. She's only 15. She watches it. So, I might have to watch her for stabbing us in the night. Yeah. But I'll tell you what's good on Netflix. I'll tell you what's really good. Altered Carbon. Have you seen that?
No.
Dude. You got to watch Altered Carbon, especially with the inebriation that you get into in the evening. Altered Carbon. Watch it. It stars Joel Kinnaman, who is a big UFC fan, who's awesome. He's a great guy. But Altered Carbon, I believe it's the most expensive show ever made.
What?
The Crown was the most expensive. That's on Netflix. Have you seen The Crown?
I've seen none of this. I don't have time. I have a 5-year-old.
Watch The Crown. Shannon, have you seen The Crown?
No, I haven't.
Watch The fucking Crown, okay? Learn something. The Crown's good. The Crown's really good. It really is. It's drama, but it's awesome. Altered Carbon is fantastic. And when you get through them, just jump over to fucking Hulu and do The Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale is really good.
Oh, Jesus.
Although, if you've seen it, it gets a little annoying at times, but it is good. It is good.
I've never seen you happier on this podcast than when you're talking about things to watch on Hulu and Netflix.
I just need a pee. I need a pee.
He lit up. Look at his face, though. He looks like he's happy. All right, so here's the thing. To answer your question, Jim from Cambridge, we would fuck up any other podcast, period.
Yes.
If you just forget, bring them on. Me and Michael Bisping, we set him up, we knock him down. That's what we do, okay? We got one of the toughest motherfuckers on the planet, plus Michael Bisping, okay? So...
And what about our back staff? What about Harrington? Who's that guy on Joe Rogan? What's he called? The nerdy guy.
Oh, Jamie.
Jamie, would Harrington?
Harrington's fucking useless. He's gonna get fucked up. Harrington's gonna trip over his own stomach.
Any of your interns, could they take Jamie?
I don't know, dude. Our interns are pretty weak over here.
All right. What is it? But I feel like ours sound like less nerdy. Like on the fighter and the kid, the guy in the background there, he sounds, like a
nerdy
total
guy.
pussy.
What's it? I don't know. I don't know their producer, but just in general, like comedy producers, sort of in general, they have like a nerdy quality to them. It's a strange profession to get into. Shannon, why the fuck would you get into something like
I
this?
feel offended.
You should. This is pathetic.
Why
Quit.
you're ridiculing Shannon there. She puts her heart and soul into this, Lewis, and all you're gonna do is say that it's a weird profession and they're borderline nerds.
Right. Thanks, Mike.
It's all right, Shannon. I got you back. Don't worry about it.
All right.
All right. Well, listen, I feel at that point, I guess we've said everything that we need to say on this episode.
It's been great. Great episode. I loved it.
I'm excited for our own YouTube page.
I agree. Go
I've
subscribe
been saying for a long time we should do it, Lewis.
I know, Michael Bisping. We did it, actually, fucking asshole, and it didn't work. Nobody came in and listened to the fucking show on it, so we stopped doing it.
You never told me.
I definitely told you.
I said to you, we should do our own YouTube page.
Michael Bisping is a liar.
You said, yes.
He's a liar.
You never told. That was the first you told me.
I wanted to be everyone out there listening. Like, let's pull the curtain aside. Michael Bisping is a liar, and he should not be trusted. Listen to nothing this fucking man says. He texts me probably every other week, going like, "Oh, hey, do me a favor, give me the login to the fucking hosting. How do the numbers work? How do the ad reads work? What is this?" And it's all, literally my response to him every time is, "Oh yeah, dude, just check your email. I just emailed it to you a week ago. Check your email. Check your email."
About that, but you never told me about the YouTube
fucking
page.
Ridiculous.
And I'm gonna pimp it out. We're gonna grow that page like a motherfucker.
Yeah, we are.
Now I know. I'm excited for it. We're gonna grow the podcast. We're gonna grow the show. You never told me about that before. But we're going around in circles now.
That's it.
Is that it? Is that the show?
That's it.
All right, guys.